So we just recently done the review of the H7 Plus by Cryorig, but we've also done the Cryorig about a year ago before that, and this is the most up-to-date version of what you're going to be seeing from me on Cryorig in 2018. And basically I'm just going to say that we've got different CPU air coolers, but they both obviously work in the same way. So this was 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for aesthetics, 10 out of 10 for sound, 10 out of 10 for performance. Like literally, my head's blown. Anyway, this one is the M9 by Cryorig. This is the M9 Plus. So this is the H7 Plus, and we've already recently done the H7 like a year ago, and now this is the M9 Plus, and we've already done the M9 already as well. So that's on the channel. Leave a link in the description down below, and you can check that out. But anyway, this motherboard's compatible with this CPU air cooler. It's compatible with 1150, 1151 socket, 1155, 1156, FM1, so that's AMD old school, FM2 plus, AM2 socket, AM3 and AM4. Now the weight is obviously lighter than what this one is, but this was going in the same case, same benchmark, same everything again, just with a smaller CPU air cooler. Had loads of room, quite a beefy CPU, nice and cool, quiet and everything like that, wicked. I want to see what this one can do. So the weight with this, with the fan is 505 grams, and without it is 345. And we do have a pure copper nickel plate, and it's 130 watt TDP, whereas this one's 150 watt TDP, and I don't think I mentioned that in the other video. It should say, it says installation made easy, so it should take 4 minutes to put together, and I don't know whether it's got the same settings or fittings as what's on here at the moment. So if it has, then I'll just transfer this straight onto it, because it will be using Cryorig CP7, which is a decent CPU air grease, 200 or thermal compound, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is just going to get this box undone and put it together, and then run a benchmark and stress test the CPU, which is using 6700K. And in this case, it doesn't really have much of an airflow. Power supplies at the top, exhaust 120mm fans at the back. We've got obviously PCI slots, which is for the graphics card, which got non-graphics card in there. No front intake, but we do have a radiator grill on the side, which is the only outsource of exhaust on the side panel, which will be like that. And then also glass is on the front. So technically this case is really freaking restricted, and it's coming out on top. These CPU air coolers, they are killing the I/O market right now with silence, aesthetics. Other than this hasn't got RGBs, but still, without RGBs, it still looks really nice. Especially from my point of view, I didn't even realise that. Check it out, check that video out. Anyway, let's get this out and then put it together.
sequence, trying not to see it. Need some bliss in the turbulence. I'm praying on the weekdays, drowning in the weekends. All the shallow, shallow friends are mine. I got that champagne dripping from inside my spine. No credit cards to buy my time. You know I never listen. It's not too late for you to let it go to my beat. Rhythm makes me complete. Strip me down to my bare bones. Too long, phasing down the concrete, moving like we're machines. Strip me down to my bare bones. Haven't had a pause yet, maxing out my mistakes. All my dreams might be made of gold. Dizzy on a Sunday, knocked out on the Mondays. All the shallow, shallow friends are mine. I got that champagne dripping from inside my spine. No credit cards to buy my time. You know I never listen. It's not too late for you to let it go to my beat. Rhythm makes me complete. Strip me down to my bare bones. Too long, phasing down the concrete.
We have another CPA cooler review, and it seems like I'm going against all AIOs and seems to be water cooling. I love water cooling because I do custom water cooling all the time, but when it comes down to something really silent and ease of use, Cryorig kind of ticks the boxes, or CPA coolers. Sometimes once it's in, but this one was a bit of a mission to get in, but only because I think I was doing it awkwardly, so I could not put all my hands in the videos and stuff, so I could show you how it's fitted into the case. But yeah, if I was doing it and I felt normal, I think it wasn't too hard. It felt a little bit more easier than the other one. But yes, it would be nice if any CPA cooler company could make anything a little bit more easy to obviously assemble. I know Cryorig's got like 4 different ways, and they're not too bad. Some of them are really hard, some of them are really easy, but this took me longer than 4 minutes to put together. This is the M9 Plus. I think I said that it works at 1150 and 40 AM, but it doesn't work with 26.6. So if you're looking for a more powerful CPA cooler that's got higher TDP, I think this one's got 130. Look further for the bigger versions, like the ones that are going to be linked in the description down below, because I've done the reviews of them already. Anyway, I think I went with the weight, 505 grams, weight without fan, 345, 80 grams for the actual product itself. Dimensions, yeah, mostly like the dimensions. So with Heatsink Specification is lengthways 98.4 times by width 102 times by height 124.6 millimeters. And dimensions are left, so length 92 times width 92 times height 25.4, and noise level 26.4 decibels, and rated speed is 600 to 2200. So this could definitely ramp up quite a bit, and it's a smaller fan. It is what size is this fan? It's 130 watt TDP. I actually don't know the size of this fan. I think it looks more like an 80mm size, or even a 90mm. I think it is more of a 90mm fan, but anyway, it's all good. It's all good. So extreme efficiency, fine tuning, cooling, all that jazz and everything like that. As you can see, there's one that is patrolling with the exhaust fan at the back, which is an error core case for all my testing so far. So I've got 2 92mm fans, I believe, going through a small heatsink, nickel plated I should say, base to go on the CPU, running a 6700K, and I don't know what the RPM speed is at the moment because it doesn't tell me. I should be using something else. I wonder if I... Oh, hang on, hold on. Will I be able to be told? 704 rotations per minute at the moment. So 600. So it's a little bit over, but it's just like hardly anything. It's really quite quiet, and it's got a lot more headroom than what the bigger ones have, because they look aesthetically pleasing and they're a lot more bigger. It looks like you're getting more for your money, but for this sort of size motherboard, this is a micro ATX so it's just not a full ATX motherboard, but it's nearly there anyway. But anyway, let's check it out, the temperatures. So temperatures, again, sweet spot. I'm just so shocked, like, how this is possible. So Crucial SSD is run at 39 degrees. The motherboard is at 30 degrees. And the CPU is below all of that, with the lowest point being at 20 degrees. Highest point being at 27 degrees on a 6700K running off a Gigabyte G1 gaming motherboard. And it's so weird. No exhaust at the top, just exhaust at the back. And a radiator slot, which is about this big for exhaust. But there's no fans here. There's no fans at the front. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, let's run the test like we normally do and find out. So we're going to run Ada 64-bit. Ada 64, not 64-bit. Ada 64 and see what happens. Anyway, let's go. Right, so we're going to start it off now. But first off, have a little listen. Wow, quietness. Let's start the bench testing. The stress testing, I should say. 100% CPU usage straight away. And we're seeing CPU cooler go up a lot more higher and quicker than what we did with, what one was it? A H7 Plus. Oh, we hit 76 so far. And the fan is screaming to keep cool. 66, 63. 72. Well, this CPU air cooler is finding it a little bit more difficult, but it seems to be very good at idling. But let's come back later and see where it's done. As you can see, we've had really big peaks. I sound like David Attenborough, I know, but I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to explain while speaking very close to the mic what is going on. That probably sounds like ASMR. But anyway, that sounds really weird. Won't do that again. So on the top you can see it spiked, see 90 degrees, 77, 71, 55, and Crucial SSDs there, motherboards there, CPU's right here. So I've been running it for 11 minutes so far and it's bouncing back. But if you think about it, who's going to really run their CPU at 100% load constantly, even though it feels, it's quite cold at the back still though. It's doing a good job. Even from my AI water cooling, I noticed that the heat comes out of the back. But if you've got graphics card, it's going to produce more heat, which in turn will make this go a little bit hotter. But because it's got fins, it will be dragged through and straight out the back. But then after a while, the heating core of it will start to warm up, and then it will start to give it a more of a decibel of heat. So maybe a decibel and more of a degree of heat, so maybe another 2 degrees on top, maybe 1. But in here it feels about let's see, it feels about 27 degrees, maybe 26 degrees in here. Maybe actually a little bit cooler than that. Let's say 25 degrees it feels like it's in here. And outside it is, I'm gonna check on my phone, outside it's 18 degrees. So, okay, there you go, 83. You got a little, it's core 2. Core 2 is broken. I don't know why that seems to be doing all the work. Then it goes, it's all over the place. All like the bottom cores are lazy. Those are lazy, those are hard workers. But yeah, let's talk about it. Right, so as you can hear right now, this is absolutely screaming its nut off. And it's just basically, it's making me laugh, but that's as loud as it goes. It's not really that annoying, but if you don't like, if you can, people hear differently, so it might be annoying. Let me take off the side panel real quick, so you can have a listen. So do I rate the M9? Well, yes, I do recommend it, but compared to if you're using this as a CPU cooler for workflow and maybe not so much harsh gaming 24/7, yes, I do recommend it. The reason I say that is that sometimes when you're pushing the graphics, if you're a gamer, you're going to obviously have a graphics card in there, because it depends. If you're like a strong gamer, I'm talking about like playing AAA games, it's going to produce a lot of heat in that case. Maybe it might be better to choose a better case, but I have to keep everything exactly the same by using the exact same case, setup, memory, CPU, motherboard, so everything's all identical and obviously in uniform, or uniforms I should say. But what I'm saying is that from a gaming perspective, yes, get this CPU air cooler if you're not playing AAA games. If you are playing just normal games and using it for internet and all that sort of stuff and working, that's fine. If you're using it for video editing, it's a different story, because the CPU does ramp up. It takes all the CUDA cores from the first initial rendering start, and then the CPU, when it's exporting, produces a lot of heat, and then it wants to dissipate and throw it out there, and then that will use your CPU 100% without a doubt. And you can change the software to utilize both at the same time. So you do definitely need a different CPU air cooler. It will work, but it will throttle a little bit. But as I can see, there's been no throttling at all, and I've been running it for 17 minutes. But seeing it hit like 90 degrees and that is a bit scary, because even though these CPUs can go up to 100 degrees, it's the fact that if you're doing video editing and you're using a cheaper CPU air cooler, and then you have a spike like that, it can literally crash your computer, and if it crashes it, that means that all that rendering or exporting crashes. You have to do it all again, especially if you're unloading 4K or like proper ProRes 4K or even 8K these days, because maybe the 2080 Ti can do 8K, and that will be good for obviously red cameras, but technically it's a gaming graphics card, it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I like it, the aesthetics are okay, but I feel that I would only give this more like a 7 out of 10. It's smaller, so you can give it definitely an 8 out of 10 because it's smaller, but it's not conflicting in the way of the RAM. Obviously they put these on straight away, so it's quicker and it looks accessible quicker, but you still have to take them off to get access to the screws, which is hexagon screws. You can use a spanner, which would be very awkward in a case like this, or you can use a normal Phillips head screwdriver or a flathead, and then you can use that and access the screws and then tighten them up. But it wasn't too hard, it was pretty easy. The way that I show you how to put it on is the easiest way to do it. And it does have a different thermal compound grease. I don't know whether if I used the other one from what was the other CPU called, a H7 Plus, if I used that, because it had like CP7 and this one had CP17, it didn't make no sense. Why don't you just keep the same thermal grease, or is it just because it's all about the difference in price? But technically it looks like it heats up more. That thermal grease might not be as good as what it is in that one, but I'm not going to test it because technically I've got to keep it as how you get it in the box, and that's how you buy it. Technically if you buy the thermal grease, and it adds on more value, so you know, obviously it costs like £4 to £7 or £10 depending on what thermal grease you buy. And then yeah, I thought we were out of that game. When you get thermal grease, it's thermal grease and that's it, it's done. But anyway, the noise, that starts to annoy me a little bit, because I think there's something wrong with the computer when it's making that noise. And it's just basically the CPU air cooler going nuts. But idling, let's say it does idling, so we'll stop it now. It's at 20 minutes and we've got the ratio of the CPU. So lowest CPU count is 53, top one's 84, 78 and 73. Not graphics card, motherboard's at 40. Crucial SSDs at 43 degrees and motherboards at 35 degrees. So I'm going to stop that now, see how quick it drops down. Wow, it drops down considerably. The noise gone. So that is freaking annoying. That buzzing sound is annoying. But this is what I mean. If you're doing idling and normal casual work, this CPU air cooler is for you. But they do a range of them. And if you check out the H7 Plus, I'm sure you're going to buy it. Or if they've got the Universal R1 and all that sort of stuff, I'm sure you'll buy them. They're really big though, but I don't know. This would be alright for Fortnite and gaming and stuff like that. But look, we're dropped down now in temperature. So we're under the motherboard and the Crucial SSD. Crucial SSD is 43, motherboard's 35, and we're under that. CPU is pretty good. So that's why I'll give it 10 out of 10. But obviously for other things that are more hardcore on the CPU, I'd give it more like 7 to 8 out of 10. Aesthetics, 8 out of 10. And ease of use, probably 7 out of 10 as well. Anyway, hope this video was in depth enough and I showed you a little benchmark. You like that? Comment down below or say something different. Say that I want to see something different in your benchmarks. Give me some ideas and I'll do them. If they're good ideas, that is. Anyway, subscribe, share, like, and see me on Facebook and on Instagram and all that sort of stuff. And Roger out. Roger and out. Roger is going home now. Roger and out.